Hi bestie, let's try and explain the stock market in simple terms. Imagine I start a business called Returned Chickens and I register it as a sole proprietorship. I start with 100 laying hens. Now, out of the 100 laying hens, 80 lay eggs every day. That gives me roughly about 2.5 crates of eggs daily and or around 17 crates every week. During my first year of business, I consistently sell about 17 crates every week. At that stage, I am not focused on making huge profits. I simply want to try and recover the money that I used building the chicken houses, buying the hens, purchasing the feed, and paying my helper, right? So every morning, I load up my eggs and spend the entire day looking for customers at the market. This is on a weekend. But after a while, something interesting happens. Instead of spending the entire day selling, by lunchtime I would have already sold out. And people start calling me asking if I have more eggs, restaurants want regular supplies, supermarkets want to stock my eggs, and even companies want me to sign monthly contracts with them. Now, that is a good problem to have. The demand for my business has grown, but my production hasn't. I am producing 2.5 crates every single day, yet my customers need almost 50 crates every day. I have customers, I do have demand. What I don't have is enough capacity. So naturally, I need to expand. But expansion requires money, right? I could ask my family members to invest. Maybe ask my uncle. He tells me he'll think about it. I could also go to the bank, but I already do have a bank loan that I use to build my chicken houses, right? So taking up more debt might not be the smartest decision. So what other options do I have? I could transform Returned Chickens into a public company and apply to list on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. Once the company is listed, I can sell shares to the public through what is called an initial public offering or an IPO. Instead of relying on the wealthy investor or borrowing more money from the bank, thousands of Zimbabweans who believe in my business can each buy a small ownership stake. The money raised from selling those shares allows me to build more chicken houses, buy more hens, hire more people, and increase production to meet customer demand. So now here's the interesting part, right? The people who bought those shares are no longer just customers or supporters. They become shareholders. They actually own a small piece of Returned Chickens, right? So as the business grows, they benefit too. If the company makes profit, it may choose to share part of those profits with shareholders through what we call dividends. There is another way shareholders can benefit. Imagine someone bought those shares when the company was still small. A few years later, Returned Chickens has become one of the biggest egg producers in Zimbabwe. More investors now want to own the company. As demand for the shares increases, the share price may also increase. If an investor decides to sell those shares at the higher price, they make what is known as capital gain. So they can potentially earn money in two ways: through dividends and through increase in the value of shares. And that, in simple terms, is what the stock market is about. It is a marketplace where businesses raise money to grow, and where ordinary people like you and I can become part owners of those businesses and share in their future success. The stock market isn't just about buying and selling shares, it's about connecting businesses that need capital with investors who want to build wealth over the long term. So you'll see that on a stock exchange, there are a lot of companies which are listed there, right? All those companies, they want to build capital. In this example, we used a chicken business where we already know that almost every household might require eggs almost every day, or once every week, twice every week, right? So it's a commodity that people want to have. We know that they are going to continuously want to have eggs. But again, we have grown into a market where almost everybody is now keeping chickens for meat purposes, egg purposes. So the market can be flooded, and that can affect Rotunda's business. And also, there are people as well who are now importing eggs from various places, so that can also impact Rotunda's business. We'll talk about these things in the coming videos. There's a lot to unpack as we talk about what happens in the stock market with this imaginary business.